Hey, what's going on? I'm David Muhammad, and welcome to another segment of The Digital Strategist. I'm very excited about my guest tonight. I've got Brook Shepard, who is the founding partner of Mason Interactive, with us tonight, and a good buddy of mine. And we go back like 8 tracks, back to the old Venture Direct days, a guy by the name of Patrick Tinnelly, sales extraordinaire in the lead generation and digital marketing space. So we're going to kind of take a pretty deep dive tonight. We're going to talk about some new concepts that Mason Interactive is bringing to market. One particularly, we were talking off camera with Brook, that really tickled my ears, the whole social email remarketing piece. So, but before we jump into that, why don't you, Brook, just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe a Reader's Digest version.
Reader's Digest?
Yeah, where you come from, how you got here, and what makes you so cool.
Sure. I've been in the interactive marketing space for 9 years. I like to say there's no other industry in which I can be 35 and a grizzled old veteran. And about 2 years ago, I quit my job and started Mason Interactive with 2 partners of mine that have been down this road before. And I
Now, Mason Interactive, that's named after your son.
It is, yes.
Very good.
He's
very
2
good.
and a half. The company's 2 years old, and so far it's been a lot of fun.
Very good. Very good.
Excellent.
Patrick, what about you?
Well, I started in
Tell us about
I
yourself.
started in the online space with you, obviously, David. We
worked together.
We worked together at Venture Direct.
I learned a lot from you too, by the way.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It was always a pleasure working with you as well.
Very cool.
From Venture, obviously, they were acquired by Platform Advertising. So after they were acquired by Platform, I stuck around and learned the education space for a while. Going through the business world, and I found myself going to an agency called Yodel, which focused on local online advertising.
Yodel's kind of hot.
Yeah, they are.
In the local search space.
They got a lot of great things
They're getting
going
some
there.
traction going on over at
They
Yodel.
really do. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the right fit.
Sure.
So I was lucky enough to actually meet Brook, and
You guys, I guess, met in traffic,
yeah,
as they say.
in traffic with the same people, same acquaintances, some of those same ones that we have actually.
Okay.
And before you know it, I was sitting in the same room with Brook, and
It's a small world.
It is a small
It
world.
really is. It really is.
And then, he had a great agency, he has a couple of really nice ideas, and we're going to go over a few of them, and I think one of the products that we currently have to speak about is going to be awesome. So I believe in it, and I think we can do a lot of great things for it. So
We're going to talk about a lot of your products. But we're going to get into the really cutting edge one. When I spent some time on your site, I was really impressed with the breadth. I always mess that word up, between breadth and breadth with the D.
Me too.
Yeah. But the breadth of your services were very intriguing. You guys obviously have mastered SEO and SEM. You're doing some email stuff, some direct marketing stuff. Just kind of talk to me. Either one of you, just kind of jump in. Talk to me about. Which one of in your suite of capabilities, which one of your services are really are flying off the shelves?
Well,
Right now?
let me just preface this by saying that we have a deep reach, but what we don't do is hang ourselves out as a shop that can do everything.
Okay.
We don't say that we're the best software developer you're ever going to find or the best database management company. We do a few things, and we do them very, very well. So just wanted to get that out there.
Right.
Very cool.
So, most of the companies are trying to be a one-stop shop, like the...
Turnkey solution.
That's it. How many times have you heard turnkey in the last like 6
Right,
years,
right,
right?
right,
Every
right.
company that goes out there, you want to be
Soup
a
to
turnkey
nuts, yeah,
solution.
do the whole deal.
That's it. But,
So what are you guys all about? What are you bringing to market?
the focus that we'd like to work with is PPC, SEO, and what's called social email remarketing. But the whole goal is to not just look at it as a product, it's to look at it as an approach. So instead of just looking
What does that mean?
Well, instead of just looking at your traditional marketing as a funnel, where you have your offline, your online, your traditional spend, it all comes down into a new customer, we actually look at a complete holistic approach. So each different aspect of your marketing obviously correlates to the next, and we try to keep a holistic cycle going to develop a new customer and then re-engage previous customers as well. So the focus is really to use those services that we were just speaking about, your PPC, pay-per-click, your SEO, whether it be local, whether it be national, really however you're developing it, and then taking it and really giving your customers, your prospects, the ability to communicate all the way around through. So whether it being online, whether it being through email, we want to make sure that we're giving a consistent message and keeping them through that pipeline, that funnel.
So at the various touch points of the prospect, whether it's email or mobile, you're hitting them there is what you're kind of saying.
Absolutely. We try to give them as much opportunity to stay within that approach as possible. So instead of just relying on just the tip of the funnel, funneling down to your actual new customer, For example, they can come into your website. You generate a lead, whether it be from pay-per-click, whether it be from SEO, and we want to be able to make sure that when we create those leads, when we generate new clients.
How's a lead created in pay-per-click?
Well, after you, Brook.
No, you should take that one.
Okay, so pay-per-click marketing, obviously everybody knows the major search engines. You have your Google, your Search Alliance, which is now Bing and Yahoo. What we do is we generate traffic through those websites. We have specific keyword groups that we actually look at for our clients. We develop specific key terms that are going to convert.
How do you
to
get
their
into the development of the specific key terms and keyword phrases?
Well, that's great. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a team that does that in proprietary methods. Our average account has over 500.
Not to give away any secret sauce.
No, there's
Of course
not. Mostly it's hard work. Our average account has over 500,000 key terms. We're deep into geo-targeting. I was at Yodel for a little bit too. I believe in the concept of geo-targeting.
So do I.
So we're lucky enough to work with AMCO, for example. And AMCO, we advertise a bunch of their different dealer locations in different regions of the country. And so we've got the same 500,000 key terms. And there are that many transmission key terms, shockingly, duplicated for each of their locations.
Sure.
And geo-targeted to a 5-mile radius around their store.
Blankety blank, Verona, New Jersey, or Fresno, California.
Or even, you don't even have to type that in. If you're within 5 miles of the Valley, our office is near the Valley Stream location. So if you type in AMCO there, you're going to see Valley Stream.
So
not what you're
location
looking
services
for.
already got you there.
We got other locations for you too.
Got it.
So the way we build out the keywords actually depends on it changes on a case-by-case basis. But we're big believers still to this day in the long tail, even though Google is moving away a little bit from the relevancy of long tail keywords and into shorter, more powerful key terms, which is part of why we have this strategy. But we still have many key terms for each of our clients live.
So as part of the integrated digital marketing mix, is pay-per-click or SEO eating up most of the pie now?
That's a great question. To be honest with you, when you look at a client, it really depends on what their goals are. Service-wise, every client, I believe, should really try to have a focus on their actual website, making sure that they have an organic presence, being able to give that fresh content, giving Google a chance to really aspire to them, get in contact with the website, and make sure that it's going to be positively ranked. But PPC, if you need results tomorrow, if you need leads today, obviously we can get that ad up there on that first page. So really, it really depends on the client's needs. What are they looking for? Do they need a solution today? Do they need a solution tomorrow? Is it a short-term strategy? Is it a long-term strategy?
So is good PPC still based on the whole concept of leveraging self-selecting behavior of guys and gals that put themselves on the purchase path and all that good stuff?
It's actually changed to be more of a broad media buy.
Okay.
Google has new tools that let you cast a wider blanket with people. And so now you can do things like remarketing, which you could always do if you were eBay. Now you can do it through Google. You can someone comes to AMCO's website on a keyword like transmission. They don't fill out a lead. We follow them around with a banner ad.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like retargeting, like the old school
Right.
retargeting where they cookie
It is.
you.
It's less about self-selecting, and now we're doing it more. It's almost like more becoming media buying, which Google's moving in that direction, I think,
Got
for
it.
revenue issues. But they're wanting you to buy broader key terms and placements on bigger networks. Traditionally, Yahoo was the place where you bought a placement, or MSN. If you were an education player, for $200,000, you could have a banner on the MSN education homepage for the weekend.
Sure.
And their sales rep would call you up on Friday at 4 and say, I'll give it to you for 150 if you get this in by 5. Google's moving in that direction more as they're shifting less from a search, and they're still the biggest search platform, but they're branching out into being more of a publisher. So they're creating their own places where you can advertise, where they own their own revenue.
Sure.
And they're asking you to buy banner ads in those spots slowly but surely. But SEO versus pay-per-click, it's a different game.
No, I mean SEO. I'm not SEO versus. Most brands are SEO and.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
We target different key terms, right? And as we all know this, just for the benefit of the discussion, you might, for a diet client, you might want to not buy the word diet because you're not going to be able to monetize that unless you're talking to us. But you might go after it for
Brook,
SEO.
the keyword gangster over
No,
there.
but you might want to go after the word diet for SEO, because it's easier to go after that financially on an SEO basis than it is on a pay-per-click basis.
Sure.
I would agree. Absolutely.
Very good, very good. So talk about what are some of the basic principles of effective integrated media buying and planning, since we've been talking about how Google's sort of moving in more of a media publisher sort of vein. What are some of the basic principles of good integrated media buying online? What are you looking to do?
I think you would start off with, obviously, what kind of message you want to portray. So if you're going to buy any specific media, you want to make sure that you have your demographics set up. You want to make sure that you know who your audience is. You want to make sure that when you're actually targeting any specific media. It doesn't mean if it's PPC, SEO, any type of banner ads, targeting, etc. You want to make sure that you have a specific message and that you're delivering that message and making sure it's focused on the right people that you're sending the message to. So obviously I just said message a whole bunch of times.
Message.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point, though. If you're not getting the right message to the kind of customers that you're looking for, the prospects, you're not going to be able to dig in and really get any results. Anybody can kind of throw anything out there and see what's going to stick. You know, if you don't understand
How do you get into the proper messaging space? How do you make sure that you've got the relevant message that's compelling and that's going to make folks respond to your offer? I mean, how do you guys... I'm asking for a little secret sauce, but when you guys are ideating messaging, what's some of the process?
Okay.
Don't give away too much, but we're trying to get into the mind of Mason Interactive.
There's a few different opportunities there. Okay. One of the things is we keep on and continually hearing the growth of Facebook, your blogs, any kind of these social media spaces. You can really pay attention to, okay, who buys my product? Okay, why do they buy my product? Okay, now all of a sudden you're buying media, right? You're driving people to your Facebook page, you're driving people to your blog, to your website. What kind of connections do they have? Why are they continuing to buy it once again? The more that you continually to dig into the reason that people are purchasing your products, the similarities, the differences between them, and you start driving into social places like your current blog, like your Facebook page and your fan pages, you can actually start to communicate, identify, and even Twitter as well. You have the ability to really reach out and understand your clients, understand that the people that are buying your product, and learn from them.
Sounds like you guys over at Mason have totally sort of, you've really got a firm grasp on what's happening in the social media space, and it sounds like you guys are creating this sort of hybrid space where sort of traditional interactive marketing is really kind of getting on steroids with social media a little bit.
Sure, so you're right. That's a great way of putting it, actually.
And we're going to segue, I'm setting that up to segue
Okay.
into our next segment where we're really going to kind of dig real deep into your social email remarketing tool in that whole process. But now we're going to take a break from the digital strategist because we're going to come up for air a little bit. Patrick and both Brook have been laying it down very poetically, and we'll be back in about a minute.
Hi, I'm Attorney General Martha Coakley. If you have trouble making mortgage payments or are facing foreclosure, ask your lender about a loan modification. Some businesses may try to charge you advance fees for this service. This is illegal. Nonprofit housing counselors are available for free in most communities. For more information, visit our website at mass.gov/AGO or call us at 617-727-8400.
Welcome back to The Digital Strategist. I'm David Muhammad. I'm sitting here with some of the top brass from Mason Interactive, a New York City-based interactive marketing firm. I've been in the field for a while too, and I'm a grizzled old vet right at about 40, so it feels kind of weird too. Right. It does feel weird saying that. But one thing I've learned in our space is that, before you get into strategy and tactics, which we kind of talked about a lot in the last segment, we've really got to figure out what our philosophy is as an agency. Yes, no, what we're all about. What is our DNA all about? So we kind of want to backpedal a little bit and kind of talk about some of the philosophy of Mason Interactive and kind of how you guys see this whole digital marketing space.
Sure.
So, Brook, why don't you kind of jump in there for us?
I appreciate that. So one of the things that was a light going off is several years ago, our biggest client was an education client.
Sure.
And let's make up some numbers. They'd get 100 people that went to their website, 10 people that filled out a lead, and one person that became a student, took out their credit card and joined the school.
One conversion.
One conversion, 10 leads, one conversion. And so we'd say to the client, what happened to those other 9 leads? What's up with them? And the client would say, in effect, nicely, we had a good relationship, but nicely, it ain't your problem, don't worry about it. And we'd say, but that's ridiculous. We've already helped you get them there. We should think about that. And the client would say, in effect, no, your channel converts at this channel converts at this, we're pouring more in here.
Got it.
So they view their marketing as a funnel, which is, we talked about this earlier a little bit.
Right.
Somewhat of an antiquated model.
It's something of an antiquated model. And so the philosophy is, how do we, instead of looking at it as a funnel, look at it as a circle and re-engage those other 9 people.
Sure.
They're not lost. You've already paid to get them.
Sure.
If you're AMCO or this education client, or you sell mattresses, or you sell diet products, once you've come to our site, our client's site, and you haven't converted, even if you haven't bought anything, social marketing gives you an opportunity to wrap them back in so they can become a customer later, whether that's next month or next year or whatever it is, sort of unimportant. But the whole philosophy is, when you go to most websites now, you can either A, become a customer, B, not become a customer. We work very hard in creating a C class, maybe a customer.
Sure.
And that's sort of the whole philosophy, is creating more of that C class
A
of maybe
third
customers.
bucket, as it were.
A third bucket. They're traditionally thought of as lost. Let's pour some more in the funnel over here to
Right.
get more of them. We say those aren't lost. We can get them back.
And from a client acquisition perspective, I mean, cost per client is going to be lowered because you've already sort of paid once to get them on the track there.
Dramatically. So I'll use some rough numbers, but the proportions are correct. We have a client that wants to sell their plan, their take-home plan, at $100 cost per sale. And we do that about for them on search. Some of their social remarketing initiatives literally come in at 21 cents a sale as opposed to $100. Those are real numbers, and I can show them.
21 cents a sale,
$100
bucks a sale.
It's that powerful. And at some point, you're re-educating your client who's been thinking for the last 10 years of digital media.
Re-education.
This is our fault. This is Google's fault. This is Didit's fault. This is Kevin Lee's fault. This is everyone's fault saying.
All of us that made a buck over the last decade in digital marketing.
Right, it is.
Okay.
And saying you should be able to, you should be getting a sale now. And every dollar that you spend should come into a sale now. And what social media has let us do is take a step back and say, how can we, while we're doing that, invest in the sales funnel 6 months down the road? So that's the overall.
So you've taken a step back and you're kind of leveraging social media to perform some sort of pipeline management functionality?
It's a great way to put it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have clients. So we're saying your target cost per lead in search is 100.
Sure.
We're going to raise it to 120. We're going to drop your overall cost per lead to 90, $10 below where you were before. But your search cost per lead is going to go up because search is no longer about just getting sales at a profitable rate. It's about that, but it's also about filling up your social marketing plan.
Totally.
So that you can talk to them later and get them to buy something 3 months down the line. And that's a hard thing for a client to say. Hi, thanks for hiring us. We're totally going to raise your cost per order. It's an education
So
process.
does this fly in the face of clients that are begging you guys to get them 100,000 or so likes on Facebook or something?
It does, and as I've said, we talked about this a little bit before the show, but for years now, clients have said, I want 100,000 likes, and I've said, no, you don't. Like, there's nothing you can really do
That's
with
like
it.
the most counterintuitive thing they've
Right,
probably
they don't like it.
I don't want to hear that right now.
Right, but so you
I want
don't.
everyone to like me.
Why? What do you care? What's the value of a like? And so without getting too much into it, we've come up with a strategy to create a value behind those likes. Social, whether it's on Facebook or MySpace or Friendster, to go back to a 4-year-old extinct dinosaur.
Friendster, wow.
Whether it's on there or it's on a blog.
Where are those
guys?
guys?
Yeah, right. It's just a way of talking to people. So we counsel clients that yes, we should be on Facebook. Yes, we have to get likes. But Facebook, social is a philosophy. And I'd rather have a social interaction going on your own blog or a forum on your own website
Nice,
than I would have it be owned by a third party like Facebook.
nice.
So that's sort of some of the things we counsel our clients about.
That is some really innovative, fresh sort of paradigms to sort of the same picture. And so I'm really glad that you took a moment to really kind of break that down for
Thank
us.
you.
Now, Patrick, you're on the front line.
Right.
You're out there pitching it. You're on the
Yes.
horn. You're nuking emails 100 times a day. So how are you positioning this cutting edge philosophical product to folks that are out there in the market?
Well, since it's a little bit of a newer product, right, and everybody's thought about digital marketing.
Again, it's called
social email marketing. That's the way that we're actually.
Now you guys are really
product,
kind of the
so.
pioneers of this whole social. I didn't say you invented it, but you are pioneering.
We are
it.
definitely giving it direction and guidance right now. So we are telling a company that could be a Fortune 500, it could be a lot smaller, it could be somewhere in the middle. And at the end of the day, we're really trying to identify ways to really wrap our hands around the social email marketing. So we
Nice.
want to make sure that we can get them fully functioning, able to understand that it's going to cost them a little bit more upfront initially. But the value, as Brooke said just only a few minutes ago, some of the dropped orders for that particular dine or meal delivery client
You're not just pushing them,
is
yeah.
23 cents. So, I mean, like Sony right now, every time they buy a PlayStation in America, Sony loses money. But where do they make money? When they're selling their games, when they're selling all the small products that go down the line, the remote controllers, the UBS cords, etc.
Yes, the old Xerox model will give you the copier.
Right,
and will sell you the
exactly.
Toner and the paper.
All the service,
and
all the
that stuff,
paper.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's essentially almost what we're doing in a marketing platform. We're really spending the money up front, making sure that we can fill this pipeline.
How are folks responding? And which verticals are you taking it? Who are you preaching
know,
to
we're-
first? Who are
we're-
you converting first?
That's a
We're
good
preaching
question.
to everyone.
Okay, but
We are.
Who are converting first?
Really-
what space is? I mean, is it consumer package? Is it electronics? Is it finance? I mean,
The
diet,
best-
body image.
We really do like healthy living, healthy diet, anything that's really going to look in that space itself. So a lot of your nutritional products, a lot of doctors that are currently out there right now that are creating their own brands, trying to create their own brand image.
Also, anyone that can sell multiple products. If you sell a Ford, it's going to be hard to get you to buy another Ford through this program next month. If you sell a diet program or socks or steak, and you might realistically reorder next month.
Are you finding
It's
much
a little
traction
better
with
for you.
big box retailers with this?
It's not something that we can focus right now on a huge retailing company. The goal really is to be able to communicate with a company in a revenue stream anywhere between about $5 to $100 million right now. So that's
the SMB space.
That's a small, medium-sized business. That's a real good comfort zone. And the reason why we say comfort zone is because the larger company that you work with, obviously, the more dynamic their audience actually is. So when we're looking at the small and medium-sized
And the more
business,
siloed they are. So we've
Right.
approached, Patrick's done a great job of getting into some giant customers.
You have Amco, and I think there's...
Well, yeah, but the issue with some of these other customers...
Amco's a big company. What
They're
do you
huge, yeah, I love Amco.
Yeah.
Why are you guys hating on Amco?
I'm not hitting on Amco. Great client, I
How you
love Amco.
doing?
Amco,
Some of the other people are very siloed.
Right.
And so we're talking about is almost, I don't really want to call it cross-discipline, because it's not really. It's
Okay.
We're talking about getting you more customers.
Right.
But it does involve your landing page. It does involve some media buys. It does involve your social strategy. And when you get to companies that
So
are
there
above
is some
100
integration
million,
going on there.
There is. When you
Yeah.
get to companies above 100 million, typically, there's a team that handles
Oh,
the
totally.
website and a team that handles the optimization.
Division in San Francisco,
Right.
and they got the
And so
buyers in
getting them to
Chicago.
talk,
and-
Right.
often it is what we found trying to grow the business and growing the business is to focus on the smaller people that are under 100 million, where it's not as siloed, a place where we can do good work and get good results for our clients and have them be very happy with us.
What are some of the results that you're finding? If you could just maybe throw a case study out about some of this
I
social email
I would like not to get into specific examples,
Nothing specific.
but we literally are growing clients' business by 400% year over year.
And that is sustained growth. That's not just we did it for a quarter, did it for 2 quarters. Their sales went up and have continued to stay at that direction and level for over.
Which sounds insane to be saying.
Yeah, I was
out
going to say
loud,
that's
but it's
like
really it's
crackhead numbers,
Right.
crazy numbers.
But the sustainability of that is incredible. Like what other business platform can you
I'm
tell me
trying to
any
find one.
can you say any marketing program that you've actually gone to that you've developed that you've been able to increase your business by 400% by working with one team with one team? I don't know.
No,
That's a really good point. And it's very hard to kind of deliver that message. You're on the front lines. I'm on the phone. I'm kind of convey that message to a lot of the people I'm speaking to. We have some great education clients, and you know what? One of the biggest challenges when we came into the space, right? This is a great idea, David. And as you know, what happens with great ideas, it's always hard to get people to understand them.
Sure.
And literally every client that we're speaking to more, they're getting it more and more and more, and they're understanding the reasoning behind that third class of customer, that maybe person that could either purchase, that could attend the school, that could become a great long-term customer, and we're really parlaying our message and getting it across in a way that they're starting to understand more, and it's easier to make that process move.
Are you guys also managing your clients' lists as well?
As far as email lists for brokerage,
Yes.
we are not currently managing their list.
You have your own proprietary list? Is that part of your model as well, list building?
What we do for the most part is we actually help build a list for their own particular business's database. So we're not going out to a third party and generating a list based on their particular demographics.
We want you to
or
do the best
buying-
list possible, and we think
Right.
that means you grow the list yourself. And don't
Exactly.
let it
Organically, sure.
Right.
Have we done media buys for people where we slot in some different people and we see how it fits? Of course.
Well, everyone's going to pepper it with a little something from here and there.
Right.
Right, but what we really want to do is help you grow your own customers, people that wanted to buy something you want to buy something you want to sell.
As you're entering a client, what's the usual door? Is it usually SEO? Is it usually PPC before you get into some more of the exotic products like we just talked about?
That's a great question. I go for the gusto. I go for I want to talk to you about a new opportunity. This is something called social email remarketing. I'm sure you've heard 3,000 pitches over PPC in the last week, maybe 2,000 on SEO.
At least.
Let me talk to you about something that you haven't heard in the last 6 months. At the very least,
Little
there'll be
counter-programming.
Exactly. At the very least, this will be an opportunity for you to learn something new about the social media space that we can integrate with your company in delivering the right message to your consumers. So I mean, that's right. That's the opening door.
And everyone, when they hear the pitch, everyone says, "Oh my God, social makes sense. I want to do this."
Yep.
Everyone's blown away by
Are
it.
you guys becoming, I know you don't want to be pigeonholed. I mean, you're like, artists. I don't sound like anyone.
No, it's
You
fine.
but are you guys moving more towards being defined as a social marketing company?
We're defining ourselves that way in our promotional materials and at the trade shows we're going to. But I think what people end up buying from us because we're talking about something so new is they end up buying from us either pay-per-click or SEO.
Right.
Got it.
And we tell them, great, but 6 months from now, or 3 months from now, a month from now, you have to know, I'm going to come back to you with the stuff we originally talked to you about. So they develop a comfort level with us. Our kick-ass pay-per-click team does a great job building them
Who
up.
kicks that into the edit?
Sorry. And then we show them the opportunities, and once there's a comfort level,
Awesome.
we engage in what is really a much more comprehensive program of social.
So you heard it here first, right at the Digital Strategist, social email remarketing, something that Mason Interactive is pioneering and bringing to market. I want to thank both Brook Shepard, founding partner at Mason Interactive, and Patrick Tinnelly, head of sales over at Mason Interactive. I'm David Muhammad. This has been the Digital Strategist, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Good night, Madison. Good night, David. Good night, Naomi.
Love you, Jessica. Bye.